I mean, if you see 4 Minnesota plates at a 4-way stop, just start filming a remake of the movie The Day the Earth Stood Still. She said, oh no, you go. No, you go. No, you were first. You know, it was a tie. Here, I'll back up. Oh, look, 2 more people. Now we can sing Kumbaya. No, you guys go. I got all day. I work for the highway department. Hi, my name's Scott Hansen. I'm a comedian. This is my wife, Michelle.
Hi.
And I am here to tell you about the problem I had with a disease called C. diff, which is, what kind of a disease is it, my wife? My wife is a nurse. That's why she's here. I don't know any of the technical terms. And that's why she went to all the doctor's appointments with me. So tell us what C. diff is, Michelle.
C. diff is an infection of the colon. Scott developed it after taking antibiotics for a finger infection.
Yes, I had a small infection in my little finger. Got it treated with antibiotics. It was a severe infection.
2 antibiotics.
2 different antibiotics. And so what happened is on a routine visit to my general doctor, Michelle mentioned that we had been to see about an infection. And just casually passing at the end, I mentioned I had a problem with some diarrhea and abdominal pains and, very, very severe diarrhea. And he immediately put 2 and 2 together and immediately said I should be tested for C. diff.
So we did a specimen and it was positive. So Scott got started. Initially, the medication he was on was Flagyl and went through a course of that, I think for 3 weeks, stopped it. Symptoms came back again. So this time he started on vancomycin. And again, Scott had a round of that took probably 3 to 4 weeks, but he stopped it. Symptoms came back again.
Now, by symptoms, you can understand, it's not just diarrhea. It was as many as 14, 15 times a day I was going to the bathroom, and it was so hard for me. I had to stay within 6 feet of the bathroom. I couldn't go into the living room of our house. I couldn't go into the kitchen because I was so afraid. I couldn't leave the house. I couldn't do things with my family. And also the disease is very contagious. So my wife didn't even stay at our house for part of the time. I wouldn't have grandchildren come over. I've got 3 kids and 5 grandkids, and I didn't want them anywhere near the house. My daughter was pregnant at the time, and I didn't want her anywhere near this place because I knew how bad this disease was, how contagious it was.
Mm-hmm. Scott was then hospitalized for some intestinal problems in January, and at that time, my sister Denise Westerhouse was able to help us make a connection with Peter Westerhouse, who has been doing fundraising through Dr. Kors in the U of M, through the organization Achieving Cures Together. I spoke with Peter, obviously, after Scott and I talked about it, and he had Dr. Kors give us a call and get the program started for Scott.
Yes, and Dr. Kors was very nice. He came out to Maple Grove and had me to the hospital.
Clinic, yep. Coldest day of last year.
Yes, it was 7 o'clock in the morning. I don't get up that early, doctor. And you could see people steaming. Of course, everything was breaking beneath us from the cold. And spent an hour with me, a full hour at least, just explaining everything to me, how it worked, how the program worked. And, explaining to me what I would have, how simple the program, and it was experimental, but it had been working for other people, and I really had no other choice. And it worked for me.
We wound up doing the initial capsules and then had some success, but then again, the diarrhea started. So then he had a second transplant from a different donor with, I think it was an additional capsule each time. And then really since April, you've been cured.
All right, the treatment before, I was explained to my doctor I would have to be on the rest of my life. And it would have, harmed my immune system. It would have definitely harmed my liver and maybe other organs. And, I didn't feel like that was a good thing. With this program and what the Dr. Kors developed, I took 3 capsules once. And after the first time, it did not work completely. I took the 3 capsules again, and I've had no symptoms since. Mm-hmm. And it was a very depressing disease. It was a very difficult disease. And, it's something you don't want to talk about. You don't, but, I figure if this can help someone else, I've got to tell people about it because this is definitely a program that helped me a lot. Yeah, and I definitely, I know my wife does too. We thank Dr. Quartz and all the nurses and the assistants and everything. They did a great job. They, were very informative. They knew exactly what they're talking about. And, I think what they've done is remarkable. And, I'm not a doctor. And that's the reason I take my wife to every doctor's appointment so she can explain what the person's saying to me. And, it was very nice because he did all of that to me. He basically went through the whole program. He had a good sense of humor too, and that was fun to deal with, especially when I made jokes about everything he did. Like I wanted to make sure that the capsules weren't edible.
But I am telling you, I must be